was just on FaceTime with my friend Maria, and I just feel really lucky to have a friend like her. We just have a really deep connection, and I really wanted to take the time right now to talk about how to actually form a deep and meaningful connection. Her and I have been friends for a good 8 years now. We actually met back in middle school. She did leave like 2 years after we had just met, unfortunately. We've had a long distance friendship for about 6 years now. Our friendship just continuously grows. Her and I are like deeper, closer than ever. She is the friend that I've been longing for so many years. Back in high school, I remember I was just like the loneliest person. My friends left the country, moved to different states, and I was forming like really close bonds with these people. I don't know what it is, like 3 people moved away from me. That was really hard for me. I remember towards the end of high school, I had this phase where like I just really wasn't connecting with anybody that I was like acquainted with. I would literally go as far as like sitting in the bathroom for lunch because I just felt really unfulfilled every time I sat with other people. I didn't feel the connection that I was seeking for. I can't even express to you how many moments throughout high school I just felt so sad because I didn't have meaningful friendships. Like, it was honestly really sad. It's like one of those scenes in a movie where the girl sits on the toilet and eats her sandwich. Like, that was me at some point in high school, like probably 11th and 12th grade. I was literally done. I was like, what the heck? Like, where are my people in this world of like 7 billion? Where's my people, you know? And I know a lot of you probably going into school right now can feel that way. And even going through school, you might catch yourself feeling like, where are the people that I can like open up to and trust and deeply connect with? The best way for me to share my tips with you is by talking about my personal experience and kind of like talking about the successes that I've had within my relationship with my friend Maria. The best place to start with is to define what friendship means to you. What is friendship to you? What are the things that you look for in a friendship, how you want to feel? One of the best ways that I can suggest actually practicing this is one, to pay attention to how your friends make you feel right now. I love to journal about things, so writing down the specifics of how I want to feel and how I want my friends to treat me like. What specific character traits do you want them to have? Do you want them to be compassionate, caring? Do you want them to give you time and like make you feel heard? All of that very, very important stuff that kind of makes you feel validated. Everyone's friendship requirements are different. Everyone's needs are very different. Everyone's depth is different, how they prioritize a friendship. Some people don't prioritize friendships as much as they do like a romantic relationship, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the amount of effort you put into any type of relationship, in this case a friendship, is as much as you're going to get back. These tips that I'm going to talk about, it's going to be more so like the key essentials of what it takes to create a deep and meaningful friendship. The key to good, meaningful, fulfilling friendships. Open and honest communication has to be right off the bat the first one, because you hear this all the time. Open communication is very important. I think communication and trust go very hand in hand. If you can communicate how you feel, what you're thinking, it creates that trust, and allowing each other to feel heard and to almost feel like get that validation that someone's been seeking for. A lot of people like to put a negative connotation on validation, but validation is very important at the appropriate dosage. And also keeping each other in check is such an important part of a relationship. A couple months ago, I was kind of bothered by something that my friend had been doing, and I really wanted to confront her about it. It was nothing detrimental, but it honestly could have formed a resentment if I just decided I'm going to keep it inside. But it was important enough for me to address the situation. I remember the feeling of fear because I didn't want to say something that could hurt her. I knew that because we had trusted each other so much and because we talk about open communication, then I should have nothing to worry about. We've established that we care for each other. We don't want to do anything to intentionally hurt the other person, but we only say these things that need to be said because we don't want to cause future issues with one another. Letting things off your chest is honestly the best feeling, and especially if someone just respects you enough to take it into consideration or take it with so much respect, like, thank you for telling me that. And that's exactly how she took how whatever she was doing had made me feel. I also think that with more and more and more communication, you either fall more on the same page or separate you guys. Things are meant to happen that way because communication and just being open with how you actually think and how you actually feel, it kind of justifies whether you're meant to have a friendship or maybe you're meant for somebody else. The next one is consistency and presence. There are so many ways to be consistent and present in someone's life, but overall, it just means you kind of acknowledge the other person's existence. This could be through FaceTime, text messaging, DMs on whatever app you use. It could be as simple as sending each other memes when you've already established like a safety net. You don't have to feel like you're putting as much effort. It's again that validation through constant communication. And that doesn't mean you have to text me, you have to call me every single day. We both agree that romantic relationships and platonic relationships have a very fine line in its core values. How can you feel close with your romantic partner if they're inconsistent and they lack presence in your life? I don't know if that even exists. It's the same with friendships. If you lack presence, if you lack consistency, how is a friendship gonna grow? We're ever changing beings. There's so much that goes on in our lives. We change and we evolve, and 6 months is actually a big chunk of time for so many things to happen, so many lessons to be learned, so many things to alter within our characteristics that we may have wanted to alter. If someone is lacking in presence in your life, they're just so unbelievably inconsistent, why settle for less of a friendship? If the person doesn't have the capability of giving you the consistency and the presence that you need, there are other people that can meet those standards that you have, because you're not the only person that really wants a certain amount of presence or a certain amount of consistency. Comfort and safety also really go hand in hand with trust. Knowing your friendship, knowing the space that you guys have together is a safe space to be in. You feel comfortable to express yourself fully. It's a place where you don't feel like anything that you say is going to be judged. Anything that you say is going to be just disregarded. Comfort and safety, like all the other things, but mainly comfort and safety right now, is really something that's built through time. I would not be able to say that 2 years ago I felt the same way with her as I do now. Over time, that trust had just evolved. Once you get a good taste of like what it's like to have a good friendship, your requirements for other friendships just change so drastically. You know exactly what you want out of a friendship. You know exactly how you want the person to make you feel. Love language is something that's often spoken about. It's often spoken about in romantic relationships, but friendship relationships, love languages are just as important. Learning your love languages is just as equally necessary in romantic relationships as it is to friendship relationships. I remember my friend said, because we were talking about dating and we were also talking about friendships, and she said, since when did finding friends become like dating? Words of affirmation is kind of like giving the person validation, but not just surface level validation, but also deep validation about their characteristics. Validation when they're going through something and you're there to listen. It could be texting each other, encouraging each other, supporting each other. Don't worry, like, I got your back. That is literally words of affirmation. I got your back. I support you. Physical touch is another love language, and this applies a lot to romantic relationships. When it comes to friendships, it could be spending physical time with each other or giving each other hugs. A lot of people love hugs. I love hugs. Receiving gifts is another love language. This is one of my favorite ways to express my gratitude for another person. I love giving cards, perfumes, candles. If they wanted something, I love buying it for them. It's like an act of thoughtfulness. Like, I was thinking of you in a moment where we weren't together. Quality time, spending time with another person. This is one of my favorite love languages. It might be my top love language when it comes to mine and my friend's relationship, because it is a long distance friendship. Quality time is very important to us. I don't think the depth of which our friendship has reached would have really existed without this quality time of FaceTiming each other, texting each other, sending each other memes, just like making sure that our presence is in the other person's lives. And you know, when you actually genuinely like a person, you don't exactly have to put effort. Like, it's not like, oh, I have to put effort into texting this person today. It's like, no, I'm gonna text this person today because I want to, because I want them in my life. It's that mutual want to be in each other's lives. Acts of service is another love language. I actually have a friendship that's mainly built on acts of service. We call each other when we really need to talk and we just need maybe advice, or we need their opinion for something because we trust their opinion, and you have a mutual respect, but you don't need to constantly have a conversation every day, not even every week, maybe a couple times a month. Understanding your love language is another way for you to understand what requirements you have for a friendship. Love languages, I feel like, are kind of built in within us, even though it kind of like changes through our cycle of life. Love language comes off naturally, and expecting someone to love you the way you want to be loved, but they just don't really give off that sort of love, then there are people out there that can give you the love language that you need, that can give you the sort of love that you want from a friendship. Over time, the more you communicate with people, the more that you're just naturally going to gravitate to people who have the love language that you want to receive. It's about feeling it out, and also how deeply compatible your love language is, and seeing if they really just mesh. Speaking of compatibility, harmony and affinity is a key concept of a friendship or any relationship. If you genuinely mesh with each other, it's that harmony, that synchronicity, and it's also like the general liking of another person. No matter how hard you try for something to work out, things are only going to work out if it's meant to work out. So with people, you can't force people to love you the way you want to be loved. Relationships are ever growing, like everything else. It's going to evolve the more effort you put in. Friendships take effort, not the exhausting type of effort, but it's the rewarding type of effort. So if you're like me, or if you're like my friend Maria, where we just value deep, meaningful friendships and deep, meaningful relationships, then you're gonna get that eventually if that's something that you keep on striving for. That is it for today's video. Let me know how you and your friends built a strong and meaningful and just overall like a deep, fulfilling friendship in the comments below. I'm sure a lot of people would love to know more tips. I will see you in the next video. Bye!